Syracuse travels down to Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, to take on the number 7 ranked team in the country. That's right. Georgia Tech, in the latest AP poll, is 7th in the nation. Hats off to them. Georgia Tech is undefeated at 7-0. And I know there are some people out there who are maybe discrediting Georgia Tech a little bit, and they look at their schedule and say, well, it's not that difficult. XYZ, they shouldn't be rated that high. Here's the deal with Georgia Tech, though. You can only play the teams that are actually in front of you, and I got to give them a lot of credit because they have taken care of business. They have maybe not had the hardest schedule, but they have managed to win all 7 of their games. And I do think that a top 10 ranking in the latest AP poll is appropriate for Georgia Tech. And this is going to be a very difficult game for Syracuse to possibly pull off an upset, which Syracuse football fans, we know that the Orange are going to have to win one of Georgia Tech on Saturday, Miami on the road, or Notre Dame on the road in order to make a bowl. And Syracuse is a 17.5-point underdog over on FanDuel. So the odds makers are not big believers in Syracuse for this matchup against Georgia Tech. As far as Georgia Tech's offense is concerned, they are led by their quarterback, Haynes King. Syracuse fans, you may be aware of Haynes King. That is because he has played against Syracuse twice before. And to save you some time, let's just say this. Haynes King, in both prior matchups against Syracuse, which were in 2023 and last year, 2024, he was really effective. He was really good. Having said that, hey, Syracuse did beat Haynes King and Georgia Tech last year in the Dome in week 2 in what I called Fran Brown's first signature win, because it was his first ranked win of what's hopefully going to be a long and successful tenure as Syracuse football's head coach. Georgia Tech's strength, it's no secret. They don't hide from it at all. They really don't. They tell you before the game what they're going to do, and they make you try to stop it. And that is their elite rushing attack. This is a team that is very physical. And by the way, that rushing attack includes their quarterback in Haynes King. Haynes King is an elite runner. He's got over 560 rushing yards this season and 10 rushing touchdowns. 10 of them already. That is mind-boggling. I've said it before on Locked On Syracuse. If you're a big NFL fan, maybe you don't follow college football all that much. Maybe you're more of a casual, and that's okay. The way I would compare Haynes King is he's kind of like the college version of Josh Allen. Not going to sit here and say he's Josh Allen. He should go number 1 in the NFL draft, although I do think he will be an NFL player at this rate. I don't know if he'll start, but he's going to make the NFL. Is he as good as Josh Allen? No, but the way he plays and the way Georgia Tech uses him, it's sort of similar. This is someone who likes to run. He also has a good arm as well. So bear with me on that, okay? They also have 2 excellent running backs at Georgia Tech. The first one is a speedster. I've called this guy a cheetah before on the podcast. His name is Jamal Haynes. He is one of the best running backs in the ACC. And also on Georgia Tech, I mentioned they have 2 outstanding running backs. Malachi Hosley, an FCS transfer that is having a sensational year for Georgia Tech. They have the second best rushing offense in the ACC, and they lead the league in yards per carry with, you ready for it? 6 yards a carry on the ground. So not only does this team love to run the football, which we'll get to in just a moment, their tendencies, they're also highly effective at running the football. Syracuse's defense, to their credit, over the past couple of games, SMU before the bye and then post-bye against Pitt, their run defense has actually stepped up and been a lot better. I give them a lot of credit for that. They have certainly proved me wrong over the past couple of games and how they have stopped the run. But this is a different animal. This is a different beast. This is Georgia Tech, and really nobody can stop Georgia Tech. Go ask the Georgia Bulldogs last year how they did against the Georgia Tech rushing attack. They barely were able to beat Georgia Tech, and they couldn't stop them on the ground at all in that one. And that was last year. They're better this time around. So keep that in mind. This Syracuse defense and this rushing defense specifically, they are going to have to be not just on their A game, their A++ game in order to have a chance at stopping their ground attack and stopping their offense in general. The weakness, if you could even call it a weakness, honestly, it's not a weakness. It really isn't. Their passing attack is good. They just don't like to pass the ball all that much. As far as their splits are concerned, I checked it out on College Football Reference. Georgia Tech runs the football about 60% of the time. So while you may look at Georgia Tech and say, well, their receivers, they don't necessarily have anyone that stands out to you as far as numbers wise, they're very efficient with their passing game. Haynes King doesn't turn the ball over all that much. I believe he only has one interception this year. Doesn't have a lot of passing touchdowns. Has a good amount of yards, I should add on that. And he completes over 70% of his passes. So while Georgia Tech is a team where their strength is clearly running the football, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do against Syracuse. Don't get it twisted. They're not going to switch up on us all of a sudden. They're still capable of throwing the ball. They can beat you throwing with Haynes King. He's a good passer as well. That is an area of his game where he has improved significantly over the past couple of years. First time around when Syracuse saw him in 2023, he actually had a very effective day through the air, but that year he was not as good through the air as he was in 2024 and as he is currently in 2025. So overall, while nothing really sticks out to you too much in their passing game, just know it's really because they run the football about 60% of the time. So it goes really without saying with Syracuse in this matchup, they're going to have to do their best to stop the run. And in order to give themselves the best chance at an upset, this is one of those games where I look at and say, getting off to a fast start is very critical. Think about how Syracuse beat Georgia Tech last year. They got up early on them. And so it forced Georgia Tech to become a slightly different team. They had to pass the ball more often than they were able to run the football. And while they were still able to put up some points against Syracuse's defense last year, the Orange were able to make enough plays on offense and ended up pulling what at the time was seen as an upset and a great victory by Syracuse. And I would still look at it and say that was a pretty nice victory, all things considered. But that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do their best to stop the run, particularly early in the game, maybe get a few quick scores on offense, which I know is not going to be easy given the state of the Syracuse offense. And maybe, just maybe, that's one path, that's one avenue for this team to have a chance of just keeping it close, let alone pulling off a possible upset. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comment section below. Am I nuts? Am I crazy? Tell me why I'm an idiot in the comment section below. Do you think Georgia Tech is going to just run all over Syracuse and win this game by 30? Feel free to comment in the comment section below. Or maybe you're someone who believes Syracuse has a legitimate chance at an upset.